Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mark's Backyard Birds. Today, I'm talking about one of the most fascinating birds in the entire world. It is one of the most widespread birds on the planet. It occurs on every continent but Antarctica. And it is, despite that, it is seldom seen. Its name is well known, but its image is not as well known for being seen. We see them in movies and we see them on television specials, but the barn owl is the subject of today's program. And these guys are the ultimate mouse catching machines. In the avian community, there are a lot of birds that are good at catching mice, but there are none to equal of the barn owl. And the part of that reason is they are basically flying radar dishes. If you look at this face, you see the shape, these dishes on the front of their face, and the shape of those help hone in sound because, like most owls, their ears are not on the side of their heads like us. Their ears are on the front of their face under their eyes. And so these shaped faces of specialized feathers, which it brings that sound into those ears. And not only are they on the front of their face, but one of their ears is actually a little bit higher than the other. So it gives them the incredible ability to triangulate sound and pinpoint sound. I read a study years ago about barn owls being where they proved that they could catch prey in total darkness. Now, eyes require some light to work. Whether it's moonlight or starlight, sunlight, obviously, but any source of light, the eyes need some source of light for them to work effectively. Now, barn owls have great eyes. They are, uh, they there's a lot of reasons for that. They have big eyes. The eyes are fixed in their socket. They see black and white, which is obviously in the dark is a better color to try to see color in darkness. So the black and white is more efficient for them and their eyesight in the dark. But it is those ears that enable them to catch prey. And what the study showed was they took a giant warehouse and they closed off all light sources, blacked out all windows, every crack, everything that would allow light in. And they covered the floor of this warehouse with leaves. And they had the barn owl in there, and they would release mice. And the barn owl was able to catch the mice over and over again in total darkness. So that shows you how good their ears are. So they are incredible flying machines. They're like most owls. Their flight is relatively silent, so the mice can't hear them coming. Their prey can't hear them coming, and they're incredible. Now, I said that their name is known, but one of the things about their name, especially in this part of the world here in Kansas City, is most people confuse them with the barred owl whenever I'm saying their name. When I say barred owl, a lot of people, their mind goes to barn owl. But I guess the names are similar, but the birds are very, very different. And in our part of the world, the barred owls are much more common. These are woodland birds, wet area birds, where the barn owl is a wide open space bird. They are they don't typically like a lot of trees. They want it wide open farmland, pasture land. That's where we see them. And with that, of course, they're vulnerable to disturbance, land disturbance, and pesticides and things like that. But one of the things that they're most vulnerable to, and why they get driven out of a lot of area, is because trees start to grow into an area, and they like to nest in old structures like their name seems to indicate, old barns, old buildings, and they like to nest in those. But unfortunately, when trees start to grow in around these open areas, the great horned owl moves in, and the great horned owl is a vicious predator. And so, unfortunately, once the great horns move in, they either kill and eat the barn owls, or the barn owls just have to leave because it's too dangerous for them. So the barn owls kind of have restricted in where and when they can nest. The part of their nesting is that they are pretty prolific breeders. They have large clutches. They have lots of eggs, and they nest twice a year, and they have lots of babies. This picture was taken here in the Kansas City area, and look at all the young. These are all immature barn owls on this rungs of this ladder, and there were more than that in this in the picture. So that the picture indicates. So the they do have lots of babies. So why did they decline? Well, we talked about the barred, I mean, the great horned owls eating them, and also, but habitat disturbance is so much. I mean, they need mice, obviously, and voles to feed their babies. And in years when they have lots of babies, they are consuming huge amounts of mice and voles, which of course is a help to farmers. So they're spread all around the world. One of them, and I love talking about them, is some of their history and how fascinating they are. They have a really eerie call. It's been described as, it sounds like I've heard it written, a woman being stabbed with scissors. Now I don't know how that specific came about, but it is a very disturbing kind of call. And that, among plus its white overall color, and it has led to lots of ghost stories over time in the old country and in Europe. These guys in urban areas, once cities developed, the most open places in urban area were often graveyards. So you can imagine, add that terrible sound that they make coming from an old rickety abandoned building, and seeing this white bird flying over graveyards at night. Do you think there may have been a few ghost stories came from the barn owl? Yeah, we think they certainly were the inspiration for several ghost stories from the old country. It's really cool. So one of the things that you can do to help barn owls, and if you live in an area that they nest, they breed, you can actually build nesting structures for them. We had an event at our store years back where we had a scout troop come in, and we bought the wood and the screws, and we had a friend who pre-cut all the pieces of the wood, and we had the scouts assemble them. And I'll show you a picture here. They were proud of their work at the end, and this is that young scout troop. They worked really hard with their parents, and they put them together, and then we donated them to a couple of local conservation groups. And this, if you can see in here, there is a baby barn owl in this nesting structure at a conservation area that was built at our store, was put up. So it's pretty cool. But they are very specialized, and it really helps to know where they are. Now, while they like to nest in an old structure, like an old barn or anything like that, they do like to have the box in there, and it makes them feel safer, and it protects them a bit too. So they will use these structures, and they love to get in where they feel safe. So this can be done. You can use these old structures. Sorry, trying to get my click. There I am. All right, find that place again. So the barn owl nest boxes can be built, and they help in trying to get the recovery of these birds back because they are in decline. So if you know a conservation group, or you want to help with that, you can suggest that they contact their local conservation agents and things. If they know where barn owls are nesting, then maybe you could build a nest box for them, and they could put it up in a structure nearby, and they would use it. So a great bird. It's like I said, not a lot known about them. A lot of misunderstanding, of course, with that horrific call of theirs and the ghost stories. But they are special birds, and we are so lucky that they're part of our environment. Like I said, they do occur all over the world. They are except Antarctica. So they are on all continents. So the barn owl, Tyto alba, is the scientific name. So great idea for a program. I'm going to try to do one of these bird focus programs at least once a month here on YouTube. If you have a bird you want me to talk about and focus about, please send me in ideas. Give us a like, give us a share. Please subscribe. That helps us out tremendously. And until then, next time, let's talk birds. Bye-bye.